Everybody, Kevin here. Welcome to the Sunday Snowboard live chat. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll be on here for the next hour to talk to you guys, answer any of your snowboard questions, get you guys updated on the channel, just what's happening, and yeah, just hang out and have a good time and get stoked for the season. September is definitely one of my favorite months because it's just like the anticipation for snowboarding is so high. Like we're a month or two away from snow arriving at a lot of places and starting to make plans, starting to buy gear. And it's just one of the best times of the year for the anticipation for snowboarding. So thank you guys all for hopping on here. If anyone is new to the channel, welcome and thank you guys for joining the live stream here. And for any of the OGs on the channel, thanks for hopping on as well. You guys have been with me here for years. But let me know everyone where you guys are watching from. Maybe let us know too how long you guys have been on the channel for, maybe how long you've been snowboarding for, and if anyone has any plans for the upcoming season. So let's give a few shout outs before we get into the questions. We got El Stacker on here, Bad Riders, In Motion SLB, Alex Fitzpatrick. We got Catman Snow, Elena Zinchenko, Old Man Shredder. Who else is on here? We got Carrie Pierce coming to us from Australia. We got the DWCP crew on here. We got Jed Volkman Films, says he can't wait to snowboard. We got all the moderators. Yeah, big shout out to the moderators on here. Rob McWilliams, Glue6. All right, let's go with this. Glue6 with the first question says, I ordered the Battalion Evil Twin and Union Contact Pros. Did I make a good choice? Absolutely, man. Yeah, that sounds like a good combo. The Evil Twin, kind of like a fun park board by the Battalion. It's got the 3BT in the nose and tail, making it a very like loose kind of feeling board, like forgiving for the park. And it's got like that a bit of a soft flex too, good for getting presses and doing butter tricks. And those are excellent bindings to go with it too, like a good park binding. Jack wants to know, anyone know if the Huck Knife Pro can be used as an all mountain board? Jack, yeah, I think it can because it has, it's got some stiffness to it. The Huck Knife, the regular Huck Knife by Solomon is a bit more of just a traditional park board. It's a little bit soft, easy to press, kind of good beginner intermediate style park board. I actually rode it for a season and loved it. But the Huck Knife Pro is just like a beefed up version, a bit stiffer. So I think you can definitely take it around the mountain and that stiffness gives you that added stability for carving, for going like off of the runs and that. So I think it is for sure. All right. Oh, Bad Riders thought I was gonna be late, but man, I swung in quick. I think I swung in at like just after 3 o'clock. So pretty early on getting here today. Glue6 asking again, anyone here been to Big Snow, New Jersey? I live near it, but it's expensive. What's expensive? How much is it? I haven't been there. I know like there's some of the other YouTubers like Jonathan Buckhouse, he's been there, and a few Casey Willax has been there, and a few of the other guys. But yeah, I don't know how much it cost, but it looks pretty cool. It looks like a really cool spot. We got Liam the King on here. What's up, Liam? We got Sebastian watching from Argentina. All right, yeah. Old Man Shredder giving me love for the stash. Awesome, thank you, man. Byron wants to know, what's a good board for quick turns in the trees? Good question, Byron. A good board that's quick board in the trees. Man, yeah, let me think. What's been a board I've been on in the last little while that's really good through the trees? Man, The Libtech Orca was pretty nice through the trees. It's got the Libtech C2X profile. So it's got rocker between the feet and camber underneath. And I think that rocker camber combo really allows it to maneuver quickly going through trees. Maybe something that's a bit shorter and wider too. Something maybe like the Jones Storm Chaser, something that's like short and fat. That's like very maneuverable. It's also got Jones's like 3D nose and tail as well. So kind of that spoon shape too, to allow you to kind of dip it and turn through, get into turns quickly. Yeah, so I would look for a board that definitely has those, the raised contact points, either through like C2X or with like the 3D contours. And yeah, something that can just like really help you do those quick turns. Some of the volume shifted board too. So boards that are shorter but wider, those are really maneuverable too. So maybe check out some of those. Like the Minexpander. The Minexpander could be a really nice one for quick turns through trees. All right, we got the first super chat from Old Man Shredder. Thank you. He says, love the short stuff you do on Instagram and TikTok. Really cool stuff. Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I've been posting a ton on TikTok and Instagram because like I do want to grow those platforms. But so on YouTube, I started the channel doing a lot of tutorials, reviews, and things like that. But I feel like here on YouTube, all those videos are up and they're there and they're kind of like a resource for people to access if they're trying to learn a trick or if they're trying to get their first turn or anything like that. So a lot of those videos are already on YouTube, but I wanted to take those and turn them into like a short form version and then put them onto TikTok or Instagram. But the tricky thing was that with TikTok, the way the information is delivered is like so much faster and quicker than here on YouTube. So I'm redoing like the audio and I wanted to, just make that content more accessible in a different medium. So like that short form video version. So getting a lot of videos, those style of videos up there. I thought it'd be a really cool place too. If I've got like a really cool, some clips from a day that was like an incredible day on a mountain, whether it was in Whistler or in Japan or Europe or the US, wherever it was. And I'm actually gonna add like some commentary to some of those highlight videos on TikTok as well, explaining things like where the day was, like how we got there, the weather conditions, some of the like thought and planning that went into making some of those like days happen. So for example, like in Japan, I want to do some videos on TikTok where I'm showing a powder day we had, but giving the kind of like the behind the scenes info of like how we got there, the time of year, the runs the area that we went to. So all kinds of stuff like that. So with those platforms, it's kind of a really cool way to deliver like short form and quick information. So if you guys want to check me out on TikTok or on Instagram, I think both are at Snowboard Pro Camp. I think on TikTok it's Snowboard Pro Camp _. But yeah, it's like a different kind of content. But the YouTube is still going to be like my #1 platform. I'm still going to be uploading tons of gear reviews shortly. Still doing the tutorials, but vlogs mostly. So vlogs kind of taking you guys to like cool places and trying to show you guys like some cool snowboard journeys. But yeah, from those videos, then taking short form videos and bringing them to TikTok and Instagram. So thanks Old Man Shredder for checking some of those out. And yeah, if you guys want to, maybe we can do a live video on TikTok after this. So let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. We could actually after the hour here, maybe we could go over to TikTok for a half an hour. I've never done a live video on TikTok before though, so hopefully it all works out. All right. Adrian says, hello from Spain. I have a friend that wants one board to do a little of everything. Can you recommend something? Thanks, bro. Yeah, so if you want a board that kind of can do a bit of everything, it depends on his, basically it kind of depends on his level of riding. So Adrian, let me know what skill level he's at. Normalized Audio wants to know, how much did you spend on Europe? So yeah, we actually have a trip coming up to Europe. We're going, so the last 2 weeks of October. Flights are actually a little bit more expensive at the moment from Canada. So I think the flight was around 1,200 Canadian to Munich and back. And then we have, yeah, like a car rental, and then the place that we stayed at, and we split that up amongst like 4 of us. So that probably works out accommodation and car rental to maybe that's like another $125 or $150 each a day. So let's say like another $1,400. So I guess that's up to 3,000 Canadian. And normally we eat like, we just get groceries and we eat everything at home. So maybe like another $500 on top, so 3,500. And then normally we get lift tickets for free, but Hintertux refused our request to get free tickets. So we're paying for all of our lift tickets in Hintertux, and that's gonna be like another $50 a day. So yeah, it adds up. Maybe like for a 2-week snowboard trip, you know, $3,800 Canadian. So if I don't know where you're at, if you're in the States, it's around 3,000 US dollars for a 2-week trip. But yeah, doing trips more locally though can be a lot less money. The flight, when you have to pay that for the flight, that ends up being that really adds up. Normalized Audio is asking, is Switzerland a bargain? It is definitely not a bargain to travel to Switzerland. No, it's a premium. It's a premium priced trip. We got GM9 watching from Glasgow, Scotland. Awesome. Lloyd says, am I missing something about the step-on bindings? Why do most YouTubers ride regular bindings? Step-ons are cool, but I think that step-ons are mainly for people that need the convenience of like not having to strap in your bindings. If like that is your number one priority, then that is like a great binding. But you do lose like a bit of performance. Like the actual straps that you can crank down and onto your boot really do go a long way in like holding your foot in and like giving you that connection to your snowboard, just making your, like, you know, really making you feel like one with your snowboard is when you can actually strap it down yourself. So step-ons are good, but I think you do sacrifice a bit of performance. But if the convenience of just like stepping into your binding right off the chairlift is your main thing you're looking for, then they can be a great thing. Wanberg says, what trips have you planned for the season? So this season is it's difficult to plan at the moment because of everything that's going on in the world right now. But we did want to go to Japan and China, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. But if that can't happen, then I definitely want to snowboard some places in the interior of BC. So check out maybe someplace like Fernie or some of the other interior resorts. But then also get down to the US to a lot of different places. I definitely want to go to Mount Baker this year, visit Oregon, Southern California, maybe get over to Montana or Wyoming. So there's lots of places in sort of like the southwest to west to northwest and yeah, kind of across the West Coast. It would be really fun to do an East Coast trip too. So maybe we'll get an East Coast trip in, but the next trip that is booked is for Austria in Hintertux. So if anyone wants to come and meet up with us, we're going to be there the last 2 weeks of October. But beyond that, it's a little bit hard to plan at the moment, too far out. All right, just going to. All right, Kodak saying, just got myself a 91 Nidecker Predator from for Wall Art. Although would love to take it for a blast too. Oh, amazing, man. Cool that you got a Nidecker from 1991. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out. El Stacker says, we need Andreas's knowledge of the trees. Yeah, Andreas loves the trees, and last season his main board was the LibTech Orca. So I know for tree riding, the Orca is one of the greats. David F says, what are some good park boards? So the last few years, a few park boards I've really enjoyed riding. The Capita Super DOA, the GNU Headspace, Solomon Huck Knife, the GNU, I forget what it's called. Well, this board turned into a board called the GNU Finest. I've ridden the LibTech Box Knife. That one's another nice one. And the Capita Outsiders. Big fan of the Capita Outsiders too. And Ayan asking, hey Kevin, what do you think of the GNU Rider's Choice? Yeah, the GNU Rider's Choice looks like a nice board too. I think that's like a fun park board that you can also take on the slopes. So kind of like a good board that can do a bit of everything in there. It's not great in powder, but it'll survive in powder. Good Luck says, most underrated resort in the world, and go. I would say there's one in Wyoming called Grand Targhee. That one's really cool. Had a great couple powder days there. I would say that Niseko, Japan is actually underrated, even though it is kind of known as being like a world-class destination for powder. I feel like it like surpasses your expectations. It's just like that much better than you expected. I even remember before I got the chance to do any traveling outside of Canada, friends would tell me like about Niseko, but they would kind of downplay it and they would say like, oh, well, the snow is good, but the terrain is like kind of average. And so I never really had that like itch to go there. But until I actually went and experienced it, now it's like, it's so amazing that it's a place that I definitely want to go to every year. So I'd say Niseko, Japan is still kind of even though it is hyped in some ways, I feel like people don't quite understand how amazing it is, because even when we're there, it's like the mountains aren't that busy. So they should be more busy. So yeah, it's incredible. But also Grand Targhee, Wyoming. I think Mount Bachelor, Oregon. So Mount Bachelor is one of my favorite spots, and it's just like in the middle of Oregon, not much around it, not really any like big like hotels or it's not like a really elaborate resort, but definitely one of the best places I've ridden. Parker says, when's the right time to buy your own gear for a beginner? Rent all season, then buy after the season or before? I guess it just depends. Like for me, when I got into snowboarding, like I think I borrowed a friend's gear to start, maybe I rented like one day. But then after that, like I knew that I loved it and it was something that I wanted to like just do more and get better at. So it kind of depends. Like I was like really certain that I was going to love snowboarding. So I bought, or like I didn't buy, actually I was just a kid, so I didn't buy anything. My parents bought me all my gear sort of once I committed to knowing that I loved it. But for some people, maybe they're kind of more on the fence and it's fine to rent the whole season. But yeah, if you have like a background in skateboarding, or if maybe you're a skier and you see like snowboarding and you like just are really intrigued by it and you know you're gonna love it, then sometimes it is definitely worth it just to go all out. So it kind of depends. It really depends. And then if you do buy your beginner gear, I definitely recommend, I think it is best to kind of get new stuff, but if you get stuff that's like a year, or even sometimes you can get stuff that's 2 years old, but it's like still new in the store, you can get really good discounts on that. So it's like a wholesale price, or just like 50% off kind of style. So look for deals like that, and you can kind of get like a whole setup, but for fairly cheap. El Stacker saying, has everyone smashed the like button? Oh, sick. Thanks, El Stacker. Yeah, we got 48 people on here. 66 people, 48 likes. Awesome, guys. Thanks for the support. Anthony wants me to do a live stream from Antarctica. That would be pretty cool. I think that would be an expensive trip for sure. Derek says, what boards do you recommend for powder and carving? Like one board that can do both. Thanks. Derek, yeah, man. I would check out, I think like a really fun board for powder and carving would be the Jones Ultramine Expander. It's like a stiffer board that still has like the length for carving, but does an amazing job in powder. Also something like, this board comes up a lot, but the LibTech Orca, because you can definitely fly through powder, but carve with it too. I would sort of like look at what you want to do more. If you want to do more powder riding, get like a more powder leaning board. If you want more carving, then maybe check out something that's more specific to carving. But a lot of those, as long as something is, I say for carving, you want something that's a bit stiffer. But if it has some of those powder attributes, like if it has a taper or if it has a swallowtail, those things can make it more friendly for powder riding. A board I haven't ridden, but I've heard great things about, and that I've heard is great for both too, is the Never Summer Swift. So maybe look at the Never Summer Swift and see if that one looks good to you. Charles, do you know anything about traveling to Canada from the US with COVID? I want to go to Whistler for the first time this season, but I have no idea if Canada is accepting foreigners. So I think Canada is accepting Americans. So if you are American, I'm pretty sure now you can drive across the border, but you can also fly. And if you fly, I think for flying to Canada, you have to get a test on the way. And you'll probably have to get a test on the way back. So that's one thing to be aware of when you're flying. You do have to get tests both ways. But if you are driving, I think you can just drive across the border now. Do you have any tips for riding switch? I'm goofy, but I'm struggling with riding switch. Definitely. So yeah, if you want to get into riding switch, the best way to do it is first like go to a mellow area, like go to where there are beginners, so like that green sort of beginner slope, and just think that when you're riding switch, you already know how to control yourself on your heels, like slow yourself down on your heel edge, and you already know how to do the toe edge. So you have like 2/3 of the switch turns down already. The only thing you have to add into it is like letting that new front foot go straight down the hill. So if you go someplace that's mellow and you find that place where you're comfortable, just pointing your new front foot down the hill for like 1 second and letting it go straight and flat, then getting onto that new edge and making the turn is the easy part. Yeah, the hard part is just letting that new foot go down straight for like 1 second. And if you take it to a really mellow beginner area, then that's where it's like the best place to learn. And at the end of each turn, just like control your speed, slow yourself down, and get set up so that you can let your new front foot go down the hill again. And if you don't want to go to a beginner area, like I think the way that I did it is when I was just riding the regular runs, any part of the run that was like an easy, which part that I thought was easy, I just did it switch. And I did that every single time I got to an easy part of the run. I would always do it switch. And over time, I could then start to ride more of the difficult parts switch. And I just made a point, like every time I went snowboarding, to practice my switch for, however much time. And like later in my snowboard career too, I was trying to spend like full days riding switch or even like powder days riding switch, just to like get the hang of it. So, and then throughout the day, try to spend like half of your time riding switch. Like even now, I try to spend like half of my day riding switch. So it's definitely a really good thing to do. In Motion SLB says, was just watching the damn drops video too. Insane. Yeah, that was from Hakuba, Japan. In I forget what the resort was called, but yeah, we found this like dam that we were jumping off of. That was super fun. Bad Rider says, and the cable grind from Chile, that was unexpected gem from that trip. Yeah, that was pretty wild. We found a abandoned ski resort in Chile, and we built like a kicker, TJ and I, along with Yannick and Rav, and we were like, jumping onto the chairlift cable and trying to grind it. That was pretty cool. David says, love your channel, Kev. Do you have any tips for hitting side hits? Definitely, David. So for side hits, it's all about, so if you see a side hit, the most important thing is like, as you're like riding to it, you're doing a few turns to control your speed. So a few quick turns, and then really setting yourself up so that your board is pointed like straight off of the side hit. I think the trouble people get into sometimes is like, you're kind of like on an edge or on a weird angle when you go to hit the jump on a side hit. So ride into it, controlling your speed with a few quick turns, and then point your board like so that you're going off of like straight off of the perfect point of the side hit. And also like pointing, like spotting your landing. And if it's like on the side of the run, make sure that there's not going to be like somebody close to you or in the landing. Make sure that the landing is like totally clear. But yeah, it's a really fun thing to do. But I would say it's like in the control on the lead up really helps you to do the side hit well. Something that can help you too is just practicing your ollies and nollies like just on the run beforehand. So getting those down and getting comfortable with the speed of like landing the jump like into the run, that can really help you too. Agent Beans says, are you Tom Cruise? That's funny. I am a Scientologist, but I'm not Tom Cruise. No, I'm not a Scientologist either. But yeah, cool. I heard that, that new Tom Cruise, that new Top Gun movie looks pretty cool though. Drew says, any tips on how to ride faster and ride with more control? I'm kind of slow and I really want to get faster this season. Definitely, Drew. So I think speed comes from being able to like control that speed too. So as you're riding, I think doing more turns and using your edges more. So when I'm like riding really fast, I'm actually quite often like a little bit on my heels, controlling my speed, and then a little bit on my toes. And I'm kind of going back and forth between my heels and toes. Excuse me, trying to like control my speed as I'm actually going faster. It's when you're going fast and you feel like out of control that you then, start to like panic or like slow down too much. So doing more turns, doing them a bit quicker, back and forth, and in that controlling of the speed, then that's actually going to allow you to go faster. Also, like choosing the right terrain to go fast on. So if you have an area that you're familiar with, and you know that, oh, if I pick up my speed here, this is what the run is going to feel like and look like. Knowing the run really helps too. So plan the area that you're going to pick up speed. Just plan that out. And also like bend your knees a lot too. So have your knees bent. So if there's any like bumps, you're going to absorb that and it's not going to kind of throw you off. So bending your knees, lots of quick turns, and looking ahead too. So like if you can look ahead and you see everything coming, that's going to tell you like where you can just continue to pick up speed, or if you need to slow your speed down. So definitely do a few of those, and I think you'll be good. George wants to know, how's TJ doing? What's he up to? Is the band getting back together? Yeah, TJ is doing awesome. He is coming to Austria with us in a couple weeks. So yeah, there'll be a bunch of videos with TJ again in mid-October. So looking forward to that. And I did get to ride with TJ in Oregon at Mount Hood at the High Cascade Snowboard Camp in early July. So that was amazing too. So yeah, with the border sort of issues, that's kind of hindered TJ and I like riding together and filming, but hopefully the border stays somewhat open and we can do lots of riding this winter. Rex wants to know, what's the worst resort in the world? Man, I don't know. I think like everywhere that I've been, I would definitely go back to. The worst days are the days I think, what can make a resort the worst is when it's expensive and the lines are endless. I've definitely had some days, I'm not gonna name any like resorts, but you guys can probably guess, where you spend like 90% of the day just waiting in line to go up. And sometimes it's actually because of like maintenance errors or whatever, but that definitely makes for a bad snowboard experience when you pay like a lot of money and then you're just waiting in line all day. So I think of resorts, they must foresee that happening, and they could build other lifts or spread things out or do something. But sometimes even if you have the best mountain in the world, but if people are waiting in line all day, then that can really create a bad day. Some of my favorite places to ride are actually the small resorts that just have normal weights and normal lifts running. But you don't have to have like the biggest mountain or the best snow or the best terrain park. It's all about just having things, running smoothly and actually being able to ride, and the vibes of like the people there. If the vibe is good and people are happy and you're able to snowboard, that to me, that's what makes like the best resorts. And it's not necessarily the size of the mountain or the price of the lift ticket. Astro Buns, I like that name. Astro Buns says, what music do you listen to on the mountain? I don't normally listen to music on the mountain, to be honest. I used to listen to music, but I kind of find it too distracting. And I do love, like, if I'm riding, I enjoy like the sounds around me. So if I'm up in the Alpine and at the top of the mountain, like I actually just enjoy, the natural sounds of the mountains, or if riding through a forest. or even in the terrain park, like just hearing other people around me. Like I enjoy that. So, but in my free time, I like to listen to, I guess like kind of like all different kinds of music, hip hop, rock, kind of everything. Not quite everything, but probably hip hop and rock are my two main ones. If you guys watch my videos, you probably kind of get a feeling of the kind of music I listen to. El Stacker says, good luck, Bogus Basin in Idaho. Yeah, that's a place I want to ride to. You know, a bit smaller, not like super popular, but I'm sure it's an amazing place to ride. It's probably underrated. I got to come check out Bogus Basin. Reno says, what's up? I was planning to do a ski trip ASAP to Park City. Do you think around mid-November there will be good snow? November is definitely a gamble for snow. Like I've had days in November that have been like deep powder days, and other years November could be like almost no snow. So it's a gamble. November is definitely a gamble. You know, if you can get out there for November, but also get out in December and January and February too. But if you can only go like, if you only have 1 or 2 trips, then maybe like put it off until a little bit later in the season. But November is definitely one of those months that's more of a gamble. Old Man Shredder with another super chat. He says SPC at Bogus Basin 2022. Nice, man. Yeah, let's make it happen. Or 2021, maybe at the end of the year. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. 21 or 22. Colt wants to know, anyone from BC in the chat? I'm in BC. Anyone else in BC? Yeah, where's everyone watching from? I think I missed that part where everyone was saying where they're from. Oh man, shout out to Old Man Shredder. He's holding down the super chats today. We got Astro Buns is watching from California. Muir Sands watching from Romania. Colt says he's about 30 minutes from Red Mountain. Awesome, man. Ryan's watching from Alberta. Good Luck's watching from BC. Bad Rider says, I remember a storm week that occurred in November a couple of years ago. Kev was frothing from 7 straight days on the Orca. Yeah, man, I was. Yeah, I remember that week. I'm actually putting a video together for TikTok from that week. I think it was me, TJ, and Chris all riding on like a 50 centimeter pow day. And yeah, that was, I think that was TJ's first year living in Whistler too. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, Storm Week, November, like 2018 maybe. Yeah, that was amazing. All right, everyone is telling us where they're from. Jonte is watching from Norway, Austin from Phoenix, Road Trip from Toronto, Ethan from SoCal, Jacob Portland, Jeremy Quebec, Gaddy Seattle. Ricardo says, absolutely, I ride Wachusett Mountain, mostly because it's very close to my home. It's a small but super fun. And no lines, 5 meters usually, and or 5 minutes usually, when I go to New Hampshire or Vermont. Awesome, Ricardo. Yeah, that's the best. I feel like you don't need the biggest resort. You just need to be snowboarding and for there to be good people and good vibes. Dalton's on Vancouver Island. Ion's in Montreal. Sjord from the Netherlands. Owen Sell from Maryland. El Stacker, Boise, Idaho. Kurt's watching from Nottingham, UK, the home of Robin Hood. Awesome. Tom Bullocks is watching from Chile. Today's the last day of the season in Chile. Awesome, Tom. I hope you had a good season, man. Wish I could have come down and rode with you guys. Bad Riders watching from Melbourne, Australia. Will, he says, what do you think of the Union Flight Pro bindings for an intermediate rider? The Flight Pros are decent for intermediate riders. I think they're a bit soft, maybe. You could like step it up a little bit. Maybe check out the Union Contact Pros or the Union Stratas. just something that's a little bit more. You could go, yeah, it depends. You could get away with the Flight Pros. I think they kind of like, I wouldn't ride them past intermediate. So maybe go with a model that's just has a little bit more tech, a little bit more money that will last you, I think, probably for longer as you progress. And David's watching from the Tri-Cities in Washington. What are the Tri-Cities in Washington? Carter's from North Dakota. Rob says, last season in Whistler was the best I can remember start to finish. Wow, Rob. Yeah, I think, I think I agree with you. Yeah, last season was incredible. Definitely some of the best powder days I've ever had in Whistler were last year. It was a very unique season because of COVID, like made it definitely a bit strange. I thought it was going to be more quiet than it was. I think it was still one of the busiest seasons I've ever seen. But it was because all the locals, people from BC were coming to ride who weren't working and could just come up and go skiing or snowboarding. But yeah, last season was a strange one for me too, because for some reason I was like, I was possessed to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning to get the first chairlift. And that was incredible. Tons of days with Andreas and Chris and my buddies, just getting up the mountain at like, meeting up at 5:30, 6 a.m. to get that first chair. And definitely some of the best power laps of my life last year, for sure, Rob. That was amazing. Georgie's watching from Alaska. Gaddy's from the Pacific Northwest. InMotion's watching from London, UK. Working Class Active is visiting Florida, but I think originally from Southern California. Bryce in Sapporo. Awesome. Sapporo, Japan. Elena from the Ukraine. Hardware Addictions from Israel. This is amazing. We almost have, we have a lot of countries covered in this live chat. This is amazing. Gaddy says, you've been to Mount Baker Resort. I've never been, but I definitely plan to this year. Heard so many great things about Mount Baker. It's definitely one of those mountains that has the reputation for being a bigger mountain that has like less lines, less infrastructure, cheaper lift tickets. So I definitely want to go there this year. I think it's my kind of place. Jay's watching from New Zealand. Amazing. Alice from South Wales, the old one, the original. You're watching from the original South Wales. Awesome. Rob's watching from Calgary. Jeff's watching from Brighton in the great state of Utah. Alec from Wyoming. Vinny says, have you ever wanted to do more? Like, what are you trying to ask, Vinny? Have you ever wanted to do more like, I don't know what you're saying. Vinny, ask me again. What's going on? Ollie's watching from Australia. Charlie's watching from New Zealand. Amazing. Thank you, guys. El Stacker with the $5 super chat. Thanks, man. He says, send me your food list before you come to Bogus Basin. And potatoes. Awesome, man. Yeah, man, I don't even have to send you a list. That's my list right there. Just potatoes, maybe potato salad, all kinds of potatoes, fried potatoes, baked potatoes. That's all I need. Steve Zimmerman from Scotland. Awesome. Bad Rider says it was TJ's first time on the Orca too. You did the comparison between the Storm Chaser and the Orca. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, TJ, the Storm Chaser, that was one of the first years that I think he had the Storm Chaser. That was pretty cool. Juan's watching from Big Mountain, Montana. Jonte says, have you tried the Nitro Team? I haven't tried that board. A friend of mine, Narav, he has that board. He was riding it in Zermatt, Switzerland. And it looks really cool. It looks like a great kind of park board, just like your standard sort of twin park board. So it looks like a great board for the park. Chuck Van from Newcastle, Australia, snowboarding 15 years, watching SBC for around 6 years. to answer the initial question. Awesome. Thanks, Chuck. You're a legend, man. Thanks so much. Alex from Wyoming, Ricardo from Boston. This is a good live chat. I feel like we're getting to know everyone really well on here. This is awesome. Murasan says, hi, I'm a student in Romania. I make maximum $200 a month delivering food. Any tips for affordable snowboarding? Yeah, affordable snowboarding. So I guess, yeah, if you can, find as much of your gear online. Like just, I would check out online every day and see if someone's either selling their gear for cheap or even possibly giving it away. So that's one way to get gear. And then, yeah, lift ticket wise in Romania, I think it's supposed to be pretty affordable lift tickets. So maybe check out, if you're a student, maybe see if some of the mountains close to you actually do like a student priced season pass. I know here in BC, like some of the resorts offer a like student priced season pass that's like way cheaper than the season pass they sell to the general public. So yeah, use your student hookups and get that like underpriced season pass as a student. Old Man Shredder with another super chat. Man, you're a legend today. Thank you. He says, if the resort is small, ride a snow skate. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I think that's the best place for snow skates as well, a small resort. Andreas was telling me a story, a buddy of mine, if you guys know Andreas from the channel, but if you guys don't, he's a guy in Whistler, loves riding the trees, but his first day on a snow skate, like he went up, like not to the top of a mountain, but pretty far up, like a mountain, where if he were to snow skate down, it would take him probably, to ride down, it takes 20 minutes. To snow skate down, it probably would have taken him like 2 hours. And the story was that he started going and then he just quit and then walked back up and took the gondola down. So I can imagine a small resort is definitely the spot for a snow skate. That's a good idea, Old Man Shredder. Juan's watching from Montana. Bad Rider says, van life, let's get the trailer park vibe going. Yeah, definitely. I got to get, if I get some extra cash this season, maybe I'll invest in a van, something I can sleep in. That would be cool for trips. And we got Mark watching from Italy. Ruslan's watching from Yunzo Sakalinsk, Russia. Amazing. Awesome. That's the first time. First one from Yunzo. Sorry if I'm not saying it very well, but yeah, that's cool. Thanks for hopping on. Dalan says, hey Kev, have you ever been to Lee Canyon outside of Las Vegas? I'm from Wyoming and I've been going to Beaver Mountain in Utah for years. I moved down here recently and don't know what to expect. I've never been to Lee Canyon outside of Las Vegas, but I had no idea that you could snowboard near Vegas. So that's really cool. I wish I could tell you more, but we'll have to come check it out sometime. That's Dallin, if you go, let us know how it is, man. Sydney wants to know, why don't you try out a Never Summer board like the Proto? Yeah, maybe I will. I haven't had the chance to ride one yet, but maybe this year. Christina from New York, solid Toeside tips for beginners. Need progression from falling leaf. So yeah, absolutely. Toeside tips. Toeside can be difficult. It's kind of like scary sliding on your toes and going backwards. I would say like the first thing is get someone just to like hold your hand for the first, 10, 15 minutes of trying the toe slide until you feel comfortable. And yeah, just hold on to somebody's hand and just slide backwards. Like think about your knees going forward towards the slope and keeping your heels up as you slide backwards. yeah, somebody holding your hand can definitely help. Then once you start to kind of feel comfortable, it's all about just like looking over your shoulder. So you look to the right and then you can see what's coming. And just by like looking, it's gonna make your board start to slide to the right. And then when you wanna go the other way, just like look to the left and do that back and forth on your toes, and try to be on your toes like 50% of the time when you're on the mountain, like as a beginner, because if you can do 50% toes and 50% heels, then you're gonna be really close to like starting to do turns. So yeah, just practice those toe slides, get somebody to hold your hand, push your knees forward towards the slope, keep the heels up, and just look over your shoulder. And just time on the mountain practicing it, and you're gonna get it. Matt B, excuse me, says, hey Kev, I'm on the East Coast, so I mostly ride park, but I go west once or twice a year and want to be able to do harder terrain and trees and POW. Any good all-around boards that you know of? Yeah, Matt, so for just like harder terrain, trees, POW, yeah, I've mentioned it before, but yeah, something like the LibTech Orca, the Jones Minexpander, or the Ultramine expander. I had a good time too on some of the Battalion Surfer. That was a fun one. Yeah, just looking at some of those boards that are more just designed to be going in one direction, that have like the taper. So wider nose, shorter tail, that helps you to float and POW. And yeah, something that's a bit stiffer too. So look for a stiffness rating of like 6 and over. If you can get like a couple of those things covered, then you're gonna find a good board. All right, just catching up on the chat. JJ Catman saying, here from the Midwest, rocking an Arbor Westmark. I love going out west. Awesome, JJ. Jonte saying, point with your arm in the direction you want. The body leans automatically in that direction and your feet move after. Yeah, definitely. If you're like looking and if that doesn't make you go in one direction, you can also point with your hand and arm for sure. Anth says, hey from the UK. Hoping to get back to Banff region soon. Awesome, Anth. Yeah, Banff. I haven't actually been there, but it looks incredible. If somebody's asking, Kev, what's with the handlebar stash? It's just for fun. I don't know. I like it. It seems like just seems like the thing to do. I'm not sure. I like had the beard for forever, so trying to keep the beard short and just keep the mustache growing. Just gonna, I don't know. We'll see how long it lasts. I think it's funny. I think it's kind of like, it's just like a funny thing to do. I know TJ can grow like a really dirty stash too. So TJ, if you get this message, man, grow out the mustache. Let's see it. Frank Rogers says, are you moving back to Whistler for the season? I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I may snowboard in Whistler this year, but because last season was in Whistler, I was in Whistler the entire time. I'm thinking just for the channel, for videos, to change things up, I want to just do more traveling, go exploring more places. Even if that's only within Canada, like that would be great. But just keeping, I've been in Whistler for so long that it may be time to just explore some other places. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be living in Whistler this season though. Braden says, what do you think the best month in Whistler is to ride heli ski / snowboarding? So I did it last year in early March, And that was incredible. Like we picked a sunny day that was like just after a couple of days of snow, and it was like amazing. So I would recommend like February or March, kind of like a bit later in the season, just because by that point, like everything is filled in. I think the terrain, there's more terrain to explore, more things are accessible, and yeah, up in Whistler for heli skiing, like you still do get a lot of powder days, lots of powder days in February, but still lots of powder days in March too. And if you can book it so it lands on a sunny day, then that's perfect. Okay, Will's YouTube account says Custom X versus Super DOA. So I think that these boards are very different. It's been a long time. I actually rode a Custom X for a season, but that was about 10 years ago. So I don't know if it's changed a lot then, but in my mind, the Custom X is much stiffer, much more geared towards like much more camber dominant and geared towards like carving, half pipe, things like that. Where the Super DOA, it's stiff, but not nearly as stiff as the Custom X. It's more of like a mid stiffness. And the Super DOA has camber, but it's also got the early, the reverse camber starts kind of like a bit earlier, making it, when you're turning the Super DOA, it doesn't feel as aggressive because of that reverse camber towards the tips. So custom, very aggressive, stiff, maybe like a good board for racing or for half pipe. Super DOA, a bit more forgiving, mid stiffness, kind of fun for the park or the rest of the mountain. Yeah, Super DOA, more of like a board anyone could ride. Custom X, definitely leaning towards that like expert level of rider. Brian says stoked for the season up here in Breckenridge, Colorado. Hope to get back down there this season. Awesome spot. Working Class Active says, how did the Jones Minexpander Twin float in deep powder? It did a decent job. So because of the more like, I think like, yeah, I don't know, I can't remember the profile exactly of the Minexpander Twin. I don't think it's complete reverse camber, but it definitely has the like earlier rise like reverse. So it does like feel like you don't have to really get way onto the back foot. And it also has the very like spooned out 3D nose and tail. So like from edge to edge, it does roll really nice through the powder. But it doesn't have, because it's a twin, it doesn't have that taper. So it doesn't have that like wide nose to help the like nose float and the tail sink. So that is just, it is a little bit more work because it's a twin. But the other features of the board do lend itself to being nice through powder. So it's kind of like a powder board that you want, where if you want to do like a lot of like freestyle in the powder, if you want to learn like 180s or 360s, just more freestyle oriented for powder riding. All right. Adventure Carlo says, has everyone exploded the like button? I think most people have. 95 people watching, 92 likes. Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for all the likes. And if you guys want, I'm gonna jump over to TikTok for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. Try live chat over there. I've only been on TikTok now for like a few months and really posting for just over a week, consistently. And I'm really impressed. Like the TikTok platform, I thought it was just gonna be like people dancing and like doing funny things. And that's definitely on there, but there's also a lot of like really good snowboard videos, like short videos. And if you guys are looking for like more daily content that is like tutorials or more just like educational slash entertaining things. I'm putting up, like, at the moment, 3 or 4 videos on TikTok a day. So if you don't have the app, maybe download it and check me out, Snowboard Pro Camp _. Let's do one more question. Kyle says, best ski resort in Canada besides Whistler. I've only been to a few other ones, but I would have to say Revelstoke, BC. Amazing resort, probably the steepest resort I've ever ridden, and one of the tallest, like from peak to back down to the parking lot. It takes you forever to get down that mountain. It's so huge and so steep, but we had some like really good hikes there and some really good powder days. So that's one of my favorite spots. Sweet. Thank you guys for hopping on for the last hour. I'm going to go over to TikTok now. But yeah, appreciate you guys hopping on here. Over 100 likes. Snowboard season is quickly approaching. Going to Austria in a few weeks. Yeah, lots of content coming from you guys. I'm also, so next weekend, hopefully have an update on things like some new sponsors for the channel in terms of board, bindings, goggles, trying to work out some new sponsors. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just getting ready for the trip and gonna have some content coming for you guys on how to get ready for the season in terms of gear as well. One more super chat from Old Man Shredder says, Sebastian Arpiella wondered if switch skating would help with switch snowboarding. Absolutely, yeah. Did I miss that live chat? Oh, yes, Stash Gaming says, Stash Gaming with a super chat as well. If you can skateboard, it's definitely gonna help you snowboard. And if you can skateboard switch, then for sure, you're gonna pick up snowboarding and riding switch so much faster. And one more super chat from Stash Gaming says, thoughts on the Golden Orca. Golden Orca is kind of like, it kind of reminds me of the Minexpander Twin. It's kind of like a powder oriented board that is more geared towards freestyle. So if you like doing tricks in the powder, something like the Golden Orca is the way to go. If you're not into tricks and you just want a board that's good for riding powder, then the regular Orca I think is better. So just kind of depends on what you want to do. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, great rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys on here next weekend. All right, thanks guys. Later.